There's a career myth that sounds responsible, but quietly keeps good people stuck. Work hard, keep your head down, and eventually someone will notice. But you can be the person staying late, fixing problems, and delivering great work, and still watch someone else get the promotion. If that just made your stomach drop, pay attention. Hey, I'm Brian, and I spend way too much time thinking about why some careers accelerate, while equally capable people stay invisible. Today, we're breaking down 12 sneaky career moves smart people make in silence. And the final one may completely change how you think about your next promotion. Don't skip ahead, because these moves build on each other. If you want career advice that goes beyond simply work harder, subscribe, because this is where we get into what actually moves your career forward. The first move is simple. Make your work visible without bragging. Most people assume good work speaks for itself, so they finish the project, solve the problem, send the file, and move on. It feels humble. It also creates a dangerous gap between what you accomplished and what decision-makers actually know you accomplished. Imagine two employees finish equally difficult projects. One says nothing until the final presentation. The other sends short updates. What's completed, what changed, and what result the team is moving toward. 6 months later, both have similar performance records, but one is much easier for leadership to remember when an opportunity appears. Research published in the Journal of Applied Psychology has found that visibility and reputation can meaningfully influence how employees are evaluated beyond their underlying performance. The reframe is this: your work cannot create opportunities if nobody knows where to look for it. The second move is to bring solutions, not just problems. Most people think identifying a problem demonstrates competence. And yes, spotting problems matters. But repeatedly walking into your manager's office with, "Here's what's wrong," makes someone else do the next part of the thinking. Now picture two employees facing the same client issue. One explains the problem and waits for instructions. The other says, "Here's the issue. I see 3 possible fixes, and I recommend this one because it protects the deadline." Same problem, completely different impression. A LinkedIn workplace analysis has repeatedly emphasized that employers value problem-solving and initiative among the skills associated with career advancement. You don't need to have every answer. You need to show that you've already started thinking beyond the problem. If you're new here and just subscribed, comment your name below. I read every comment and shout out new subscribers in my next video. I do appreciate you joining me on this finance journey. The third move is to build your network before you need one. A lot of people only start networking when they want something: a recommendation, an introduction, a transfer, or a new job. By then, the relationship often feels transactional. Instead, think about two employees in the same company. One only speaks with their manager and immediate teammates. The other gradually builds genuine relationships with people in finance, operations, sales, and leadership. When an internal opportunity appears, the second employee already has people who know how they work. LinkedIn has reported that a significant share of hires comes through professional networks and internal connections, reinforcing a simple reality: opportunities often move through people before they move through job boards. The reframe is simple. Don't build relationships because you need something. Build them so that when opportunity arrives, you aren't a stranger. And there's a fourth move hiding inside that idea. Find a mentor inside the organization. Most people imagine a mentor as someone who gives you career advice once a month. But a strong internal mentor can do something even more valuable: help you understand how decisions actually get made. Consider two employees who both want to move into leadership. One guesses what senior leaders expect. The other has someone experienced enough to say, "You're technically strong, but you need to communicate differently at the next level." That information can save years of trial and error. Research from the American Psychological Association has consistently associated mentoring with stronger career outcomes, including greater career satisfaction and advancement opportunities. A mentor doesn't give you their career. They help you see yours more clearly. The fifth move is to be strategic, not just busy. Being busy feels productive because you can see the evidence. Emails answered, meetings attended, tasks completed, hours worked. But companies don't promote people simply because their calendars are full. Imagine two employees working 10-hour days. One spends those hours reacting to every request that lands in their inbox. The other asks, which two things matter most to the team right now, and protects time for those priorities. Both are exhausted. Only one is consistently moving important outcomes forward. A 2023 report from Asana found that employees spend a substantial portion of their workday on what it calls work about work, coordination, communication, and administrative tasks, rather than skilled work that creates direct value. The reframe, being exhausted proves you spent energy. It doesn't prove you spent it well. The sixth move is to speak the language of business impact. Your manager may not remember that you processed 400 requests. They may remember that you helped cut response time by 30%. That difference matters. Picture two employees presenting their accomplishments. One says, "I handled customer complaints and updated the system." The other says, "I helped reduce unresolved customer issues by 30% and shortened the average response time." Same underlying work. One describes activity. The other describes impact. Research from the Society for Human Resource Management has consistently identified business acumen and the ability to connect work to organizational goals as important capabilities for advancing professionals. So stop asking only, "What did I do?" Start asking, "What changed because I did it?" That question can completely change how your contribution is perceived. The seventh move is to ask for honest feedback before the annual review. Most people wait. They assume the performance review is where they'll finally discover how they're doing. But by then, a year of assumptions may already have accumulated. Imagine your manager has one concern about your communication style. You discover it in November. Now you have weeks to change the perception before promotion decisions are made. Another employee asks in March, "What's one thing I could improve if I want to be considered for more responsibility?" They get the same feedback and have 8 months to act on it. Shrum research has found that organizations increasingly favor ongoing feedback rather than relying entirely on annual performance reviews. The reframe is powerful. Don't wait for someone to grade your career. Ask for the answer key while there's still time to improve. And the eighth move is even sneakier. Act like the next role before you're offered it. That doesn't mean pretending to have authority you don't have. It means developing the behaviors expected at the next level. If you want to become a manager, start thinking beyond your own task list. Help teammates solve problems. Communicate clearly. Anticipate risks. Take responsibility when something goes wrong. Two employees can have identical titles, but one already behaves like someone leadership can trust with greater responsibility. When an opening appears, that person doesn't suddenly become ready. They already look ready. Research on leadership emergence has repeatedly shown that people are evaluated not only by formal authority, but by behaviors associated with leadership, initiative, and influence. The reframe. Promotions often look sudden from the outside because the preparation happened quietly, long before the title changed. And once you start behaving like the person you want to become, there's another move smart people make quietly. They document everything. Most people keep their work scattered across emails, messages, meetings, and memory. They assume everyone remembers what happened. They assume their contributions will be obvious when the time comes. That's risky. Imagine two employees deliver similar results. One keeps a simple record of projects completed, problems solved, positive feedback, measurable improvements, and important decisions. The other relies entirely on memory when the performance review arrives. 6 months later, one has evidence. The other has a vague collection of stories. Research on performance management consistently shows that more frequent documentation and feedback can improve the accuracy of performance evaluations, compared with relying on distant recollection. The reframe is simple. Your memory is not a career strategy. Your record is. And documentation isn't about building a case against everyone around you. It's about making your contribution impossible to accidentally overlook. Save the email confirming the result. Keep the numbers. Write down the problem you solved. Record what changed because you stepped in. Because when someone asks, "What exactly have you accomplished?" you shouldn't have to reconstruct your career from memory. There's another quiet protection smart people use. They guard their reputation. Most people think reputation is about being impressive. It's not. A huge part of reputation is simply being predictable in the right ways. You answer professionally. You don't explode when you're frustrated. You don't turn every disagreement into a personal battle. And you don't become the person everyone has to worry about when pressure rises. Picture two employees who both make a mistake. One blames everyone else, gets defensive, and complains about the situation. The other says, "I missed that. Here's what happened, and here's what I'm doing to prevent it next time." Same mistake, completely different reputation. The American Psychological Association has reported that workplace stress and interpersonal conflict can significantly affect employee well-being and performance, which is why emotional regulation isn't merely a personality trait. It can become a professional advantage. Your reputation is what people expect from you when you're not in the room. Protect it accordingly. Now, here's where the quiet strategy gets more interesting. Smart people don't wait for their employer to develop them. They develop themselves. The common belief is that if your company wants you to advance, the company will provide the training, courses, conferences, and opportunities you need. Sometimes it does. But waiting for permission can leave you years behind. Imagine two employees with the same job title. One learns only what the company requires. The other spends a few hours each week learning a skill that will matter in the next role. Better communication, data analysis, leadership, negotiation, or industry knowledge. A year later, their current jobs may look almost identical. Their future value doesn't. LinkedIn Learning's Workplace Learning Report has consistently found that employees place high importance on learning opportunities, while organizations increasingly identify upskilling and reskilling as critical to adapting to changing work. The reframe is this: your employer may pay your salary, but you own your career capital. Don't outsource your development. And that leads to the 12th, and most important, move. Balance present performance with future positioning. This is where people get it wrong. Some become so obsessed with the next job that they stop doing the current one well. Others become so comfortable being excellent in their current position that they never prepare for anything beyond it. Smart people do both. They deliver today while quietly preparing for tomorrow. Think about two employees who both want leadership roles. One spends every day talking about the promotion but neglects current responsibilities. The other consistently delivers, learns how the next level works, takes on carefully chosen responsibilities, and builds relationships with people already operating there. When the opportunity arrives, one is asking to be considered. The other already looks like the obvious choice. Research on career adaptability has linked proactive career behaviors with stronger career outcomes because people who prepare for future changes are better positioned to respond when opportunities appear. The reframe is the whole strategy. Don't abandon your current role to chase your next role. Use your current role to become ready for it. So, let's put the entire playbook together. Make your work visible without bragging. Bring solutions instead of simply bringing problems. Build relationships before you need them. Find a mentor inside the organization. Be strategic instead of merely busy. Speak in terms of business impact, not just completed tasks. Ask for honest feedback before the annual review. Act like the next role before someone gives you the title. Document your accomplishments. Guard your reputation. Develop yourself without waiting for someone else to do it for you. And balance strong performance today with quiet preparation for tomorrow. None of these moves looks dramatic. That's the point. You probably won't post about them. You won't announce that you're networking strategically. You won't tell everyone that you're documenting your wins or preparing for the next level. But months from now, these small behaviors start compounding. People know your name. They know your work. They trust your judgment. They understand your impact. They see you operating above your current level. And when an opportunity appears, you aren't trying to convince everyone that you're ready. You've been showing them. That's the real differentiator. It isn't always talent. It isn't always luck. And it definitely isn't simply working the longest hours. It's the accumulation of small career decisions that other people don't notice until the results become impossible to ignore. Jim Rohn put it bluntly: work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And that's the challenge. Don't wait for the perfect manager. Don't wait for the annual review. Don't wait until someone finally recognizes your potential. Pick one of these 12 moves and start today. Make one piece of your work visible. Ask one person for honest feedback. Document one accomplishment. Build one genuine relationship. Learn one skill that your future self will need. Because your career isn't shaped only by the big decisions you make in public. A lot of it is shaped by the quiet moves you make when nobody is watching.